The World Bank downwardly revises its GCC economic growth projection, and Salik approves a dividend of 100% of H2 net profit. You're watching The Daily Brief with Forbes. I'm Ramia Faraj. The World Bank has downwardly revised its 2023 economic growth projection for the GCC to 3.2%. In October, it had forecast 3.7% GCC economic growth. Such a rate would be less than half of the 7.3% increase, which was estimated across the Gulf last year. The report was compiled before OPEC Plus announced surprise oil output cuts last weekend that drove up oil prices, and the World Bank says its projections do not incorporate any impact from that decision. Brent crude hit a high of $139 last March, close to its all-time high compared to today's price of around $84. Salik has approved a dividend of 100% of the net profit for the second half of 2022. Dubai's toll gate operator will distribute cash dividends of $133.8 million or $1.78 per share. Salik reported a net profit of $144 million for the second half of 2022. Last year, Salik's revenue rose by 11.8%, primarily driven by a 12.6% rise in the number of revenue-generating trips. The UAE and Vietnam have signed a mutual declaration of intent to start negotiations for a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. Vietnam was the UAE's leading trade partner in East Asia in 2022. The UAE is the leading trade partner of Vietnam in the Arab world, accounting for 39% of Vietnamese trade with their region's countries. The UAE is the leading trade partner of Vietnam in the Arab world, accounting for 39% of Vietnamese trade with the region's countries. Their non-oil trade exchange in 2022 was valued at $8 billion. The DP World Tour has won its legal battle to be able to suspend and fine live golf players who featured in conflicting events without permission. The independent UK-based panel of sports resolutions ruled in favor of the DP World Tour. Members of the DP World Tour, also known as the European Tour, played in Saudi-backed Live Golf's opening tournament last June. They requested a conflicting event exemption, but that request was denied, and they received 3 event bans and fines. Samsung Electronics says it will cut its chip production as it grapples with a sharp global downturn in semiconductor demand that has sent prices plummeting. The unusual output cut by the world's biggest memory chip maker came after it flagged a 96% plunge in Q1 operating profit to $455.5 million. Smartphone and PC makers stocked up on chips during the pandemic when demand for consumer devices surged, but they're now running down inventories as shoppers purchase less amid rising inflation. Toyota is aiming to launch 10 new battery electric vehicle models by 2026. It's seen as a move to catch up in the EV market and compete with other major players in the industry. Analysts say the world's biggest automaker increasingly recognizes it needs to match Tesla's design and manufacturing innovations to drive down production costs and turn its all-electric business into one that's more profitable. Meanwhile, Tesla slashed prices of its EVs in the U.S., doubling down on a discount drive against the backdrop of a weakening economy. The cuts ranged from 1.9% on the performance version of the Model 3 to 5.6% on the basic version of the Model S. The move follows repeated comments in recent months by Elon Musk that Tesla would focus on lowering prices to spur demand. It saw more orders with its global discounts, which were introduced in January. And staying with billionaires, let's take a look now at today's Forbes Real-Time Billionaires ranking. It tracks the daily ups and downs of the world's richest people. Our biggest loser today is the world's wealthiest man, LVMH's Bernard Arnault, down $4.1 billion, still with net wealth of $222.9 billion. Our second biggest loser today is the world's wealthiest woman. Francois Bettencourt Myers is down $2.8 billion with net wealth of $89.5 billion. And our third place loser is Japanese censor billionaire Takemitsu Tekizaki, down $757 million with net wealth of $21.4 billion. Check out our website and our social media for all of the latest billionaires news. And UAE astronaut Sultan Al-Ayadi will become the first Arab astronaut to undertake a spacewalk on the International Space Station. The UAE will become the 10th country to perform a spacewalk on the ISS on April 28th. The Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center says the highly anticipated spacewalk will last around 6.5 hours, providing the astronauts with the unique opportunity to experience the vast expanse of space while working to maintain and upgrade the ISS. I'm Ramia Faraj. This is the Daily Brief. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.